some best practices and trends for technology integration. So I'm going to be going over some topics that are relevant to best practices and trends that we've learned throughout this class, and some that I've learned through research and of course through experience. So the first bullet is creating change in organizations. Some best practices for creating change in organizations is first to take it slow. Most people are hesitant to change, more so with teachers who have years of experience. They have had success in the past with practices that they are currently using and are often hesitant to change for a few reasons. One of those reasons is they are successful or have been successful in using prior methods, and their thinking is why reinvent the wheel. The second reason is learning a new skill in the middle of a school year. That's very difficult for a classroom teacher. You're balancing students and family life in your classroom, so the learning curve is pretty steep. And then the third one is finding ways to use that new skill that you just learned. It takes more planning time, as well as being unsure of the reaction from your students. It feels easier for these teachers to fall back on what they already know and are comfortable with using. The second bullet is about examples on recognizing true technology integration. So there's a big difference between technology integration and using technology within the classroom. So understanding that true technology integration is very different between technology integration and using technology. First, true technology integration involves more facilitating than teaching. This in itself is a skill that most teachers have to learn first in order to have technology integration be successful in their classroom. Once becoming a facilitator in your classroom, teachers then have to provide time for students to interact with the chosen technology and give them time to explore and make mistakes with it. Through the use of and missteps, teachers will quickly understand that students often pick up the technology faster than the teachers, just because that generation gap, and the students that we're teaching today are more adept to using technology than most teachers. The third best practice is ways to provide outreach to the community using technology resources. Some ways to provide outreach to the community using technology resources are no longer narrowed down to emailing parents. So before, emailing parents was we're using the computer, we're using technology to email parents. That's no longer the case. Social media outlets are one of the best ways to connect with your community, and that is where most of your stakeholders are interacting anyway. So taking full advantage of this ability is a critical first step. The second step is to provide access to the classroom during after-school hours. This provides an avenue for school and communities to come together for the common overall goal of student success. Increasing information to and involvement of families. Similar to involving the community through social media, I believe that this pathway also is relevant to keeping information flowing between the school and the families. Our society now moves information faster than ever, and I believe that schools should adapt to the change and take full advantage of the opportunities that social media can provide. With teachers connecting with families through social media, communicating critical information between the two stakeholders increases tremendously. Funding opportunities available to schools and school districts for integration technology. Funding opportunities are always available to schools and school districts. These include fundings from the NEA or like the National Education Association. They provide up to $5,000 for classroom technology resources. Powell Group Fund gives priority to projects that build on the strength of the individual use of technology within the classroom. So they provide funding for classrooms that are already using technology in their classrooms to help build upon that strength. There's another funding resource, Corning Incorporated Foundation. This provides funding for STEAM and STEM projects for schools who currently don't have one or are looking to establish one. You may often come across technology apps that are free for schools to use when signed up through their technology leaders. as they not only promote and advertise the app, but also allow the schools to use this resource for free. And then the last one, budgeting and funding considerations for technology integration. Budgets and funding is often something not thought of by the teachers in the classrooms, as the teachers often spend their own money to provide their students with the best opportunity for success. However, those two keywords, budgeting and funding, they speak heavily to the principal and the administration personnel, who in turn hold the purse strings for these resources. So the people who hold the purse strings for the resources in the classroom, those are usually your principals, your vice principals, your administration, your school superintendents, your district school superintendents. So for those personnel who are at that tier, when you make presentations, you got to come with great presentations. You got to come with data-driven results that's backed up by research and cited for them to research on their own to confirm. So ensuring that you are well prepared when providing these presentations, that's key for allowing these resources to be purchased and then of course used in your classroom. And again, the overall idea has to be for student success. I believe the way to have these technology upgrades included into the budget is to provide the admin and stakeholders with concrete data to back up your claims of why a certain technology should be explored and purchased. Having these data points and great presentations allow the purse strings to be open and technology to be purchased for the use by the students in the classrooms. This also is going to increase student success, and it will allow for technology to not only be used just by the teacher, but to actually be truly integrated within the classroom, which is the direction that our society is moving towards now. I mean, information is moving so fast that schools have to jump on that boat and be with the change, because that's where our students are, that's where our families are, and we got to be connected with them as we move forward.